my channel and welcome back to day 2 of YouTober. For today's video, I'm sharing my tips on how to get organized for the fall. I'm talking all about my budget, tips on how to plan your days out and how to actually be more productive. I'm going to show you what I actually use for my budget. I do it actually electronically, which is about the only thing that I do planning wise in an electronic version. Everything else is pen and paper, but I have just found this to be the most easiest for me. Plus I'm not necessarily a math oriented person. Doing my budget online is an easier way for me to be able to calculate things super quick and not have to worry about it once the equations and all that are set up, so it's done in the Google Sheets. I'm also going to be sharing with you my #1 tip on what I feel like gets me set up for a productive day before the day even starts. Check out my appropriately YouTober themed mug. Autumn leaves and pumpkin, please. I'm obsessed. All right, shall we just jump into this? This is something that I actually created I created it around February of this year, but I didn't actively start using it until like August-ish. So basically what I did with my budget, and I'm going to show you guys a screen share of this so you can kind of see what it looks like, but I have it on my MacBook and I also have it on my iPad. But this was really helpful, especially when I was really like crunching the numbers and trying to figure out how much I had for spending and for each category every month. It's been really helpful for me to keep track of my budget, keep track of my expenses, and kind of just show me everything at a glance. And like I said, I've added this to my phone. I've downloaded the app on my iPad so that way I can kind of see it wherever I am. But I have it color coded. I'm very much like an organized, color coded type of person. So over here I have the key. So this dark pink area, this is my budget for the month. Okay, so this is kind of like just everything I think I'm going to be spending throughout the month. A lot of these actually have pre-filled in the template that I have, but just for the sake of like privacy reasons, I have cleared out this column. But I've actually already entered all of this pink area. Every time I create a new spreadsheet, I don't have to like go back and re-enter it all. So I go through and I enter everything that I think I'm going to be spending that month for in that dark pink area. This light pink area, so where it says actual amount here and the date, so this is what I'm actually spending. So it actually changes this red area up here. So I never edit this actual totals, but this gives me my total spending to date, my income total, as well as my actual after expenses. So this is my actual income after everything I spend, if that makes sense. Okay, so then as I get my income, I'll go through and enter what I earn each month. So here I'll put in what I'm estimating that I'm going to bring in, and then this section is the actual amount. That's going to change over here, and you'll notice it subtracts what I spend and gives me my actual amount that I should have after my spending. So it's a really great way for me to see everything that I'm doing as I'm going through my month. And what I like to do is once I add in all of my bills, my business expenses, I also put in a section for savings. So I budget how much I want to add in my savings every month, and then I do my fun stuff. So this is where I put my spending in for the month. It's a really easy way to keep track of everything. And then this yellow section, so if you see the yellow highlights, that's how much I have left to spend for the month. So what that does is, let me go up here and I'll kind of show you what I mean. For example, let's say your rent is $1,000 a month. So you see this just jumped up to $1,350. Let's say my utilities are $100 a month. So as I'm entering things in here, this is all going to go up. Okay, so this is remaining left to spend. When I go and change this actual amount, it's going to subtract what I have left remaining. Do you see how that works? So it's actually subtracting things as I go. So that way I can see, so I can see how much I have left to spend in each category. So it's a great way for me to see like how much I actually have left to spend for the month, especially when it comes to things like my fun and extras stuff. I can kind of budget. Say I want to budget $100 for my events. Maybe I only want to spend $100 on food, going out with friends, whatever. So that's going to tell me how much I have left. And then as I spend things, maybe one weekend I spend $25 here and I spend $30 or $40 here. It's going to keep subtracting that and tell me how much I have left remaining. So I can see at any time during the month how much I actually have left to spend. This definitely took me a while to set up, but now that I have it set up, it is so helpful to see everything. And I actually know where my money is going. It's a great way for me to like just stay organized and not have to stress about it all the time. So my second tip to help you get organized for the fall is to plan your day. And I do this a bunch of different ways. I have a whole plan with me playlist if you would like to just kind of see more how I do this. The biggest thing that I think has been a game changer for me is creating my to-do list before I go to sleep the night before. And I'll just list everything I can possibly think of that I might need to get done for tomorrow. It's not necessarily a to-do list as in I need to do all of these things tomorrow or my day fails. You really just want to get everything out onto paper. And I found that this actually helps me sleep better too, because I'm not thinking of a million things. What I do next, sometimes I do this at night depending on how busy the next day is, or I'll do it in the morning like with my morning coffee. But the next thing that I do is I prioritize my list. So I actually, on the right hand side of my task list in my bullet journal, I will number the tasks, and I'll go from 1 till whatever number of tasks that I have. So if I have 20 tasks, I'll go till number 20. But what I use this for then is my goal with every day. I try to do at least a minimum of my top 3 tasks, get those done. The biggest thing with prioritizing your tasks, I always aim to do the toughest stuff at the beginning of the day. I've just found if I can do it and get it over with, like, oh, it might feel like pulling teeth if it's like something I really don't want to do. But if I get it done and out of the way, then I know that the rest of my day I'm already gonna feel accomplished. So I'm more likely to do more things because I already feel like I've accomplished this big, huge thing that I didn't want to do. Those days that I tend to be lazier and not wanting to do things are usually the days that I keep putting off those big tasks that I don't want to do. That's how I prioritize my day, and I have found that I'm so much more productive when I do this and actually follow it. That night, as I'm planning out my list for the next day, I look at what I didn't get done, and maybe those become my number 1 tasks for the next day, if that makes sense. So I always kind of have a running list in my bullet journal, and then I actually look back on that at the end of the month, kind of reflect back on it, see how I did for that month. If you're interested in seeing how I do my like bullet journal monthly logs, how I do my reflections, I have all kinds of tips in my Plan With Me playlist, so I'll link that in the description box. Check that out if you're interested in learning a little bit more of how I plan inside my bullet journal. The biggest thing that I have found to help me get organized and actually be the most productive is to get the most important stuff done first. And then my final tip for this is to get organized the night before. So I kind of talked about this a little bit in regards to making your to-do list, but the other thing that I really love doing is to get myself as much set up for success as I possibly can the night before I go into my day. I've found that if I try to wait until the morning, I just end up like feeling kind of overwhelmed. Sometimes I can get so overwhelmed to the point that I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want to do anything then. And I end up putting stuff off and just not being productive. So I found the best way to get myself organized and actually be productive during the day is to get organized the night before. So this could be anything from setting out my workout clothes, picking out a work outfit, packing your lunch, prepping your meals if you're maybe someone that works from home, making everything as easy as possible so that when you get to the next day tomorrow, you're not sitting here having to make all of these decisions. I read a book called The Power of Habit, and that was honestly one of the best books I've ever read because it really opened my eyes to how much our willpower can be drained just by simple everyday decisions like what should I have for breakfast, what should I have for lunch. So by preparing all that stuff the day before, you're actually setting yourself up for success as you move into the next day, because now those decisions are already made, you already have your lunch packed, you already have your dinner prepped and all of that. So you're giving yourself more brain power to actually devote to the things that you want. So this kind of ties into my night routine, but basically I will update my budget sheet from the day, put in any expenses, anything I spend, stuff like that. I'll put that in there. I'll update my habit tracker, my gratitude log. I'll also journal right before I go to sleep because I found that that really clears my head and again still helps me sleep better. Doing as much as I can to prepare for the next day before I wake up in the morning. That way when I wake up, I'm not already running a million miles a minute with my brain having all this stuff in my head like, oh, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. So it gives you more energy to devote to the things that you actually want to get done that day. So those are my 3 tips on how to get organized for fall, on how to be more productive this fall. These are the 3 things that I am using, and honestly, they have been such a game changer for me. I have been so much more productive and got so much more of the things that I actually want to get done because I'm prioritizing and actually getting myself organized and setting myself up for success. So I hope these tips help you. If you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. I am uploading a video every single day in the month of October. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.